The July 20th, 2026 meeting of the Bay City City Commission will come to order. The clerk will give the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Kubit.
Here.
Coakley.
Here.
Doyle.
Here.
Tenney.
Here.
Zanotti.
Here.
DeWitt.
Here.
Runberg.
Here.
Charlebois.
Here.
Morris. Mayor Gerard.
Present. What's your pleasure on Commissioner Morris? Commissioner DeWitt?
I move to excuse Commissioner Morris. He sent me a message earlier about him trying to wrap up a deal and to get over here.
All right, is there a second? Commissioner Runberg?
Second.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Commissioner Morris is excused, and we do have a quorum. First order of business is presentations. We have several, but I do not see the folks for our first presentation on Maplewood Park. So we will move on to updates on road projects. Come on down the road.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I've been asked to bring a presentation to the Commission for some information concerning the partial utilization of UBB funds and the road millage. So executive summary is the presentation will discuss two topics. Present road projects utilizing the 2.5 million of the 5.0 of UBB account funds, and discuss local road millages. Current funding basis, overall budget for road projects is very limited at only around $2 million. The majority coming from Act 51. And directed to be used in accordance with the purpose of capital projects. Other funds may be attained by BCATs, HUD, TIFA districts, and other grants by funds are not always available and are shared among communities and districts. The remaining 2.5 of the $5 million UBP money in the fund that will be utilized for grant match opportunities and develop a sidewalk fund, which we do not have outside of HUD at this time. Project locations. I've been asked to bring forward some specific project locations, and between me and my team, we sat down and collaborated with a number of projects that we think equal to about 2.5 with our estimated guess for monies on these projects with the information that we have. We took in factors to sidewalks, curb and gutters, if it's a mill and fill, if there's utility work, water main, sewer, what have you, everything that goes with these projects. So there's a couple in here that may need some water main, short, one block type of thing, possibly able to do this in-house. Not sure yet. We still have to do some preliminary engineering on these before we move forward. One of the projects is JFK Drive from Henry Street to South Concession entrance of Betts Park. North Monroe Street from McKinley Avenue to Center Avenue. East Monday Avenue from Henry Street to Germania, Germania Street from East Monday Avenue to Main Street. Franklin Street from 14th to 16th. 15th Street from Franklin to Garfield. Final project selections dependent on completed construction plans. Project selection criteria. Scoring is based on annual average daily traffic, probability of failure for infrastructure, Paisley score, roadway location to major routes and services, locations related to HUD census, may provide additional funding for sidewalk improvements. And the next slide will highlight the possible construction. Blue on the map is, we have 32 miles of the blue, which are projects that we feel with our educated information that we could possibly go out with the funding and do some of these projects. Purple is a little bit more extensive. Also remember that these are strictly local roads. This does not include any of the majors. Local street millage. Grants are typically geared to major road improvements, including commercial routes and heavy-use residential. A millage will be specific to local street improvements. One mill generates approximately $150,000 per year, costing the resident about $100 per 100,000 taxable value. If we looked at 2 mil, we could generate approximately 1.7 per year, costing the same resident $200 a year. Paving costs range from $55,000 to $33,000 per block, depending on road condition and infrastructure condition. Road millage focus. When all other factors remain equal, a good road will add approximately 15% to a home's value. Replacing the road surface is only part of the process. Underground infrastructure is a major component. The initial focus for the millage will be to resurface roads that have limited impact or good condition infrastructure. The further into the process we go, more or less road work may be completed based on infrastructure and overall condition. Communication with the public will be key to the progress of success. Proposed millage management. Roadway Infrastructure Committee is a proposed committee that I've asked that we get together, go through options, especially now that we may have some funding that we can look at, make sure we're taking a look at the bucket and we're taking care of what we think we need to take care of. Roadway Infrastructure Committee will review roadways and proposed projects quarterly and make recommendations for replacement subject to project scope and depth of stay up to date on construction projects. That would consist of commissioners, city manager, citizens, and DPW staff. Next steps will be from commission, as the millage would need some recommendation from commission to move forward. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you to the chair. Thank you, A, for bringing this plan to us, and B, for giving us the presentation tonight. A couple of immediate thoughts are, I see a lot of blue on the map, which is great for like future projects, but on the initial list, I didn't see anything in the 4th Ward that I represent. So I feel like it's, on me to ask it out. Are there some projects that are going to come up for my neck of the woods, for the folks I represent?
So there was a little bit of a reasoning on why we picked these particular projects for proximities adjacent to other projects. Just for instance, East Monday Avenue with Henry Street to Germania. We could capitalize if we could work with the railroad right there to try to do some work. We can get some extra road paid by the railroad and possibly some sidewalks. So we're trying to make impact on these initially. So that's, and as you see, we kind of ran out of money. So 2.5 don't last real long if you're thinking about it. So we did have some thought process in these instead of just throwing darts. No, that's not what we did. And then, again, specifically on the money side, these are projected costs. We don't know what the exact costs are. We don't know what's in the ground until we go out there and do some preliminary engineering before we capitalize on any of these projects.
Fair enough, so getting the most bang for our buck is the name of the game. Appreciate it.
I have a quick question. Was traffic volume, traffic counts considered in any of this too?
Absolutely, all of them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt?
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm not sure if it's going to go through you or possibly to Mr. Silvic if he's here. Do we know the average taxable value of residences in Bay City? Or a median?
So that's a question maybe. Okay. City manager's looking it up.
Because from my estimate, based off of where mine is, I'm going to take a guess that most of the houses are going to be underneath that 100,000 taxable value. And I just want that to kind of be noted. I'm sure there's data somewhere, but if we can get it, that'd be helpful. Second one is I just want to confirm that we are not directly bonding out with this like we did in the 90s with the road millage. Then this is going to be just collected internally and used as it comes in. Correct? That is the plan for this.
That is I do not want a bond.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was also, because I know that was
Correct.
a sticky thing that happened with that one in the 90s was really bad for
We
us.
use as it's accrued.
Okay, awesome. Those are my questions.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Shalawa?
Yeah, I just want to know if we can get this on a fall ballot. Does anybody know?
Sure, yep, the city manager can answer.
We can, but in my opinion, I think you should meet to discuss what ballot to put it on, because there is some strategy on what ballot it would be on, either a May ballot or August or November. So I think there has to be discussion between whoever wants to sit on this committee on which ballot is best for it.
So you're saying we can't get on the fall?
No, I'm not saying
The thing is, the off election is better, passes millage is better for one thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that you need to get together and decide as a group on what ballot you want to be on. And then you'll have to come up with some millage language.
I think a lot of that's been done already from past years, right? You sent it to me.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
You can't go over, you told me we had about 2 mills to work with,
Yes.
and we can't go over because of the Headley thing?
Yes, the Headley is coming into play, yes.
Okay, well, I guess you're off the hook on this one, but I think we should try to get it on the fall ballot. I don't know how to, anybody that could help me do that or get it there quicker than later would be good. That's all.
Yeah, I'll set. Commissioner? Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion to be done on this yet before putting it down on a ballot. I think any millage with this, the people, the constituents of the city will want to know exactly where the monies are going. Is it just going for roads? Are we going to be doing other things with it? We have to be pretty black and white on this. We have to be transparent on the entire thing to gain that trust and show that we are doing exactly what we say with it. So I do think there should be a little bit more discussion on it, on getting it right instead of just trying to get it through, in my humble opinion.
All right, I'll sec. Commissioner, can you wait, Commissioner Shaw? I know you wanted to, I don't know if you wanted to respond again or talk.
Well, I just wanted to say that I don't think we'd have any problem finding somebody that wants to fix the roads sooner than later. And I see stuff oftentimes get talked to death around here. It's pretty cut and dried. It's a mill or two. It's going to go all for the roads. There's one question, and I think it was going to be, is all the money going to go towards local streets, or are we going to split it? I just think we're going to miss an opportunity here. It's going to be 2 more years probably before we can get at it again. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Cubit.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the effort on this. I would be happy to serve on the committee, and I'm not sure what your recommended next step is. I don't know if, because we should just schedule a meeting, right? You know, and I'd be happy to be a part of it. I know there can't be too many of us from the commission, but I don't know if you're able to try and help schedule an initial meeting for a next step, but what do you recommend about the next step?
So we actually do already have an infrastructure committee, so we'll have to look at who's currently, it's a former committee, and if we have to re-update it, typically what happens is it's with the mayor and commission president puts forward a list of commissioners to serve on that committee, and then from there, then a meeting would be scheduled. That's per the charter.
Okay, but this new, I don't know if it would be under the current infrastructure committee or if you're proposing a brand new committee or a subcommittee of the existing committee. I guess I'm asking for clarity about this new committee, but.
I think the commission can determine that if they wanted to create, you know, I guess we'd have to hear from the commission president what his thoughts are.
Ideally, I would think that we'd have the infrastructure committee we have ask the people who are still on it if they want to continue for this portion, and then flip them out if they do not want to continue on this portion. That way we can keep the framework together. But we just have to make sure we have those who are on it confirm that they're either okay with it or want to step back and let someone else do this section of the investigation.
Okay, because there's two separate committees. One was an older one, so I don't even know if anybody on, other than myself, that was a former, you know, a couple years ago. So I don't know if we need to authorize through a new subcommittee task force or not, or just assign new members to that. So I guess I'll leave it up to you to make that determination. So, and we can talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're sort of setting the next item so that we keep this going. You know, I appreciate the presentation and I want to keep the momentum up, and I'm happy to help in any way. So I defer to leadership on it, but.
Okay, thank you. Zanotti?
Just a couple things is, you know, my experiences with millages is that usually the May voting period is the best time to pass a millage. Now that doesn't mean it can't be done, but the other thing that kind of concerns me is, you know, when you want to pass a millage, you want to get the yes voters out there. And you want to be very specific of what we're going to give the people for paying the extra taxes. And when I look on that list, I don't know that we're firing up enough people to get the yes votes, okay? So I think there might have to be some more strategy on how we're going to spread this money through the whole city. I kind of concerned about the projects we've identified. Not that they're not good projects, but we need to get yes voters if this thing has a chance at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for clarification, that list that you presented isn't tied into the millage proposal. This is with what you presented was the 2.5 million, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just for your clarification. Okay. All right. Commissioner Runberg.
Thank you to the chair, and thank you for the presentation. Real quick, kind of, I guess, building off what my colleague in the Fifth Ward brought up is just a recommendation is maybe we could have some proposed project ideas of what might happen if we looked at a 1 mil versus a 2 mil. Just for marketing purposes, to be able to really try to get people's buy-in in the community for actually doing this. These aren't going to necessarily be set in stone or anything like that. We have to make that clear through our communication, but just some ideas of what could actually be accomplished so we can try to help people envision this. I mean, the county community pool was able to get passed in a millage, so I'm hoping that means we're in good water, no pun intended. But that was mostly where I think if we could just do some sort of advertising for what is possible with those, that would go a long way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Charlebois?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm not on the infrastructure committee, but the last meeting I was at, there was the public safety director and the city manager, and that's it. And some of the people that are on the committee work days, and the meetings are 9 o'clock in the morning. It was almost seemed like it was by design for me to have less people show up so it could be steered the way it wanted to be steered by the powers that be. And I think we need, when we form an infrastructure committee, we need people to show up for it. You weren't there either. You weren't there. So So it's not a backroom deal, okay? So we can get it straight this time. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Coakley.
Yeah, just to be clear, there has never been a infrastructure committee with 2 people. I have not missed one, not one. And you can talk all you want, but like I said, I'm sorry, I did not, excuse me. But that could be confirmed, because I think the mayor has made all of them also. I don't know, but I just, it's just amazing there. But getting back to it, yes, I think we need to be clear on this, exactly what we're going to do with the mills. As long as we're transparent and the people have trust that it will be spent where we say it's going to be spent, is the only way to make this work.
Just for clarification, there's 2 different committees. One is the public safety infrastructure, which we're talking about tonight, and the other one was a infrastructure, streets and sewer systems that was meeting a few years ago. That one has not met in a little while, so I just want to make sure there's clear. And I hope we don't have to have back and forth, because ultimately we want to make sure we're doing things in the best interest of the community. So go ahead.
It wasn't from a few years ago, it was a few months back, and Commissioner Coakley was not there. I can't remember the last date. The mayor was not there. It was a pretty small group. I was sitting on the wall. So don't say you were there if you weren't, because you weren't. That's all.
Yes, there might have been. I was out of town when they called the meeting, so I didn't have any say in the date. So anyways, we can bicker about little things like this, or we can move forward. That's,
It's not a little thing.
Okay, so any other comments? All right, thank you.
I do.
Oh, go ahead.
Commissioner DeWitt, your question about the median value, it's $100,000 in Bay City.
Medium taxable value is at 100,000 for residences in the city.
Correct.
Okay, I wanted to, okay, that helps, thanks.
All right, thank you very much for that presentation. And then our final presentation is the update on the Public Safety Infrastructure Committee and the fire stations.
All right, so I'm here tonight. I was asked by the committee, the commission-led committee, to give an update. We've been meeting for a little bit over a year. The focus of that's been to look at infrastructure, fire stations throughout the city, determine where our critical needs exist. So that's what we'll be discussing tonight. As we look at our fire stations, it wasn't a surprise. Station 2 was built in 1956. Replacement of this station is critical to maintain emergency coverage in the south end, to continue to meet that 5-minute response time that we currently meet and address the numerous PFAS issues that are present on the site and were identified through the 2020 Eagle investigation. So Station 2 is a busy station. They maintain a high call volume. As you can see, on average, we run around 2,000 calls a year out of Fire Station 2. Projected calls for this year are right around 2,000 calls again, a little over. Right now we have what I consider an incredible response time for the residents in 2's district. So 3 minutes and 31 seconds is our average response time to priority 1 through priority 3 in Station 2's district. As you can see, 2025 was our highest year. Our incident call volume was 2,054 calls. So the coverage impact, we've heard a lot of questions. Why can't we cover those calls from Station 1 that are down in 2's district? Because it's too far a drive and it takes too long to get there. So when we look at the response time that we just showed you on the previous slide at 3.5 minutes, we can take that response time if we're coming from Station 1 and pretty much double it. So we'll be looking at a 7-ish minute response time to the south, the furthest south end. And that affects our fire attack, that affects rescue operations, EMS support, overall community risk. We're very fortunate on a large number of our structure fires to get water on the fire fast and keep small fires small. This would create significant delays if we were to respond from Station 1 to the south end of the city. So keeping that station in the south end supports our department response time standard of 5 minutes. How did we get here? 2020, we were contacted by Eagle. They were notified that there was potentially PFAS on site. After years of testing, there's PFAS everywhere on the site. So not just on the site, but in the storm lines and sewer lines that are adjacent to the property. So what that means for us is it's not a viable long-term solution to stay at Station 2. We currently have known about the PFAS for roughly 6 years. We have firefighters working in that station every day with extremely high PFAS numbers. This is going to require demolition and site remediation to address the contamination. These things, the environmental cleanup, the demolition need to go hand in hand so that we can make sure that we're cleaning the site up according to the standards that Eagle has set forth. The previous commission had tasked us with finding grants to try to cover some of this. We were able to do that. We secured a $959,000 grant from Senator Peters' office that takes care of all of the demolition and cleanup on the site, as well as the adjacent storm sewers, sanitary sewers that are in that area. The grant covers the complete demolition, remediation, like I said, the sewers. It does not fund a replacement station. So basically what it does is cleans the site back up, but it does not fund a new fire station. So additional capital support is still going to have to be provided for the new project. We've looked at numerous areas over the last few years for Fire Station 2, and the most viable site was the old DPW on Water Street. Through this infrastructure committee over the past 6 months, we've worked with Spicer to try to give us an estimate on what a new station would cost. Again, these are estimates. $9.1 million is a rough estimate. That does not include demolition of the current DPW, the old DPW building on Water Street. The reason that that's a preferred site is it still allows us to meet that 5-minute standard on the south end. We're also extremely busy when it comes to water rescue and the reduction in services by the U.S. Coast Guard, so that would also allow us to move Marine One, our water rescue boat, closer to our personnel, as we do respond to quite a few water rescues throughout the community. Again, this is just a planning estimate. This is not a final cost for the project. What we were able to do is nail down a square foot price, which is pretty consistent with other builds that we're seeing across the state. So this is very similar to what Mr. Dion just showed in terms of bond payments and costs. So the commission, prior to this commission, approved a $5.2 million bond that's already been approved. The annual payment for that was between $350,000 and $400,000. The estimated payment, if the city were to bond $10 million, is going to be around $700,000 to $800,000, comparable to what we were looking at for streets. That's with a 20-year term. So these figures should be treated as planning estimates. They're not the final financial quotes, but they are close. Again, we just heard about mills in the last presentation. So 1 mill would roughly cover the annual debt payment, $50 on $50,000 taxable. I know we just learned, looking at about $100,000 per household, so around $100 a year. And that's on a $10 million bond. In closing, it's important that we preserve the fire protection on the south end. We need to continue to provide those response times that we're currently providing to the residents in that area, along with completing the PFAS-related demolition and cleanup in a responsible manner. Our recommendation, first and foremost, is use the grant that we were able to obtain from Senator Peters' office for $959,000. Take care of the demolition and PFAS remediation on the site. Second would be to advance the Water Street project, move forward with a replacement station on the DPW property. And then the last item would be closing the funding gap, build that capital package that's needed for construction and site preparation on Water Street. Any questions?
Commissioner Coakley.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I know the answer, but we will ask on this. I know the timelines aren't there on tearing it down and getting a new one built if that happens. Could you explain your plan in the transition in between the two?
I believe we have a year to use the THUD grant from Senator Peters' office. We cannot get a fire station built in a year. So construction costs, I think, or construction time frame is probably 18 to 24 months.
So what would be the solution for that time frame in between the tear down and the build?
So we've looked at several temporary options that would still, current businesses that operate in this area that would allow us to rent space in the meantime. None of those are, I'd say, fantastic options, but I think we can still make it work in that interim period.
Right, and I just wanted to make sure we still had that. I know this has been a long task getting this done, multiple sites, coming up with the funding, getting everything set. This is the recommendation from the Infrastructure Committee to move forward on this. What I do like about it, it would be a 1 mil put to a vote. So ultimately, the constituents of the city will decide if this is what they want. Instead of just a straight closure or anything else happen, the people will get to decide on what they want here. And to me, ultimately, that's the goal we should be moving forward with.
Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you to the chair. Sir, I'd like to thank you for the presentation, also for giving myself and some of my colleagues a tour of Station 2 and a bunch of information about the conditions that our best have had to work in for, aside from the past 6 years that we knew about it, you know, leading up until then, right? PFAS is some pretty serious stuff. I guess there's for me, this is personal because there's a direct impact on the people that I serve, right? And I struggled to see success, like you were talking about, if Station 2 were the station serving the south end. So I appreciate your work on this, appreciate the presentation, and I would hope that others see the value in this and would vote yes for this. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cubitt.
Yeah, thank you. I know that there's been a lot of work on this. I do have a number of questions, but I'm going to keep it relatively brief because I know there's been a lot of information, and I know people watch this meeting, though, so I want them to have as much information as possible. So the grant is already secured. You said that we have a year to use it. I know you said that the Water Street is the preferred location for the new build, and I heard you say that not only would that still be reasonable response time for the south end, but it would open up the water, so that would be a benefit. But I want to clarify, is it possible to rebuild on the current site given the remediation money that we got?
From what we were told from Eagle, no.
Okay, even with the remediation,
We were
Eagle
told that they
said
would
no.
restrict the deed, and I know Shelley can probably speak to that a little bit, but their plan was to restrict the deed to that property.
Wow, okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify.
I think to see, I know we've done, this is I think the third or fourth presentation, the PFAS numbers are unbelievable on that site. And you're never going to get rid of it all, and I think that's likely the reason that we don't want to rebuild and put firefighters back into another situation where we have contamination.
Okay, got it. Do we need to take, I guess my question about any potential funding for the voters, there's a max on how much total. So can somebody educate me on, if we put something out to the voters regarding the roads, but we also put something out to the voters regarding fire stations, it can only add up to a total of a certain amount of money. So can somebody clarify that a little bit?
Yes, and we put these two on purposely tonight because I think it's important to look at the priorities of what you want. We've gone back and forth with both of these presentations many times, and we don't know what to do because we're not getting clear direction as far as, are we going to go up for a millage? Are we going to do the bond? What are we putting the money towards? Roads, fire stations? We need some direction to do that so everybody knows what our plan is.
All set? All right, Commissioner Runberg.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Just two quick questions here, and some of it may have already been answered, and I apologize if I'm repeating it. So the grant that was secured through Senator Peters' office, we're sure that's sufficient for at least the cleanup and demolition, or demolition and then cleanup?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the other one I had here is, I know you said there was a square footage price that we determined. Do we know realistically about how many mills we would need to cover a complete rebuild to satisfy all the requirements that are out there?
About 1 mil. So
About
our
1 mil.
square footage price was right around $650 a square foot, which in talking to several other fire chiefs across the state that are currently doing builds, they're right in that same ballpark. So that seems to be a pretty solid number we'll be looking at for square footage.
Okay, perfect. That's all I have. Thank you.
Sir.
All right, Commissioner Shalwa.
Yeah, where are we getting the information on the contamination? Which department? Is that at a state level?
Eagle.
I'm sorry?
Eagle.
Eagle?
Eagle?
It's not DEQ or?
Well, that's Eagle now.
Oh, okay, they changed the name.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I just want to say a few things. 98% of us have PFAS in our blood. The station is 56 years old. This building we're in is about 120 years old. You can repair and fix old buildings nicely, retrofit them. We went from I got a gold-plated study in my briefcase here. We're going to build a brand-new fire station for $5 million. Now we're at $10 million. I mean, you know, it's just, we still haven't addressed the station over my neck of the woods. I couldn't even get a roof on it to stabilize it. There is a question of response time. We had people come in here, there was a 10-minute response time, and we got told by public safety director that, oh, we had somebody there in 2 minutes. You had 2 cops or 2 public safety people with no hoses, no gear, no fire trucks, no pumps. So I want to see that station get addressed also. And I guess that's all I have, but just remember, this stuff is, the horse is out of the barn. I think some of this stuff is scare tactics. And like I said, it went from 5 million, now it's 10 million. A year ago, they had a $20 million facility that they wanted to push. And also, I know this is important. I know firefight, it's actually more important than the roads. I tried fighting that fight for a year and a half. I got nowhere, not for my station, my neck of the woods. And none of these people live in the city either. So it's pretty arbitrary. You can say, well, we're closing that station over there. To hell with that part of the city. Not on my watch. I'll be voting no on this. I just told you why.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
Okay, my question is, if we are going to be at Headley cap, what is the amount that we have available at this point to hit that cap? What is the maximum that we would have available to ask to voters between the two, like total?
I believe it's 2 mills, but we can get an exact figure for you. I can email the assessor tonight, and he can get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, so we're looking at, we have an ask for up to 2, and we have an ask for 1 with an option of maybe 2, and we have to, and those are the maximum we can do. We'd only able to ask for that. Okay. And then I also want to reference back to the city survey from last year where almost half the city said no to any amount, and that's going to be a hard sell for everything here. I want Station 2 fixed or replaced. I would like to see Station 5 taken care of as well. I want to see roads fixed. We are in a bit of a gridlock, obviously, but if we can get full figures and we can try to figure out what we can gain public trust on. I mean, I know we have this $1 million to get this down. From everything I've been told, I've been affected by the PFAS at McGregor and Station 2. So, like, I would like to see progress made. I just need to have the ability to map that out, because if I'm stuck at a max of 2 and we're asking for 3 to 4, obviously that's not going to work. And I know some of the roads in the previous one were in my neighborhood, but I don't know how much I can do to convince the entire ward that one project is better than the other, or both are needed, and we can't give you both fully. So I don't know how that's going to work going forward, but if I can get that maximum allowance so we can I can kind of put some feelers out, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Zanotti.
The proposed site, have we checked, is that site clean, environmentally clean? Or is there going to be remediation on that site before we can build?
So we have checked that site. We work close with Shelley Environmental Services on that site. That contamination that's there, because it's any site we've looked at is at some level, anywhere in the south end of contamination. This one is manageable with much lower cleanup costs than PFAS.
And then it's my understanding, just generally, we're looking at $10 million, but the payback for the taxpayer is going to be close to $20 million because of interest, right? And, you know, I think it's a big ask. It's a big ask. That's all.
All right, Commissioner Coakley.
Station 2, is it safe for firefighters?
I guess it's up to what you're comfortable with leaving your firefighters in. I'm not comfortable with it. I haven't been since I addressed this board 6 years ago. When you look at 11 million parts per trillion on the site where our firefighters mow lawn and do yard work and live, I don't know a fire chief anywhere that'd be good with that.
As one of the commissioners that actually went to every fire station when you had the open houses and visited them, actually walking into 2 and looking around there is quite the eye-opener as to the condition it is, not only with the PFAS, just the breaks in the seams and everything else. I'm just not comfortable leaving our firefighters in a situation where it's not safe for them. We have said we're going to move forward on things. We prioritize Station 2 first and foremost for safety reasons. Whether you live in the city or not, I know you care about the firefighters, just from conversations that have been had with you, and you care about the city and you care about your numbers. We can move on to the next. We're done working on this, but this can's been kicked quite a bit now, and we need to move on it. I mean, unless we get a huge state grant or federal grant that's not going to be coming, it looks like, you know, this is something we're going to have to let the voters decide on. And I would rather let them decide what's going to happen with this than just close it down without the constituents even having a say in it. So that's my thing. I'll let the voters decide on this.
Before we go to some of the other commissioners, I have you down. I do want to say we owe a big gratitude to our firefighters that are putting themselves in harm's way for the best interest of our community. So we should be giving them an applause, not condemning them. So I want to make that real clear, that they're choosing to do, yes, that's, I normally don't do applause, but we should recognize folks that are going beyond and above the call of duty because they could go elsewhere. We do have neighboring communities that are constantly looking for firefighters, and we have some of the best well-trained firefighters, not only in our region, but in the state of Michigan. So I want to thank them all who do that job. Not everybody is capable and equipped. All are public safety department officials and officers, so thank you for that. There are hard decisions to make. You know, nobody wants to pick one over another, but I do know this, we should evaluate based on looking at the call volumes and the impact in different areas, right? I asked the question, with our talking about streets, what are we looking at making sure that these are highly traveled areas because we have limited resources. So, you know, as we determine and evaluate everything, I mean, let's put our folks that are putting their lives in jeopardy first, right? And make sure we're addressing the issues that we need to address. So that's all I'm going to say right now on it. We have Commissioner Charlevoix, DeWitt, and Zanotti.
Yes, I have to say, firefighters are in danger. It's the nature of the job. So are people that live in the northwest part of the city. by having that station closed, they're in danger. I would like to see this get tabled so the new city manager can look over all the circumstances of it. That's what I would like to see. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
My ask is actually going to go through to the Public Safety Chief, Rowley. About, I'd say 8 months ago, you asked to help write a letter for a grant request. Could you give me a status of, I'm going to guess that was denied, but if there was any process on that?
No, it has not been denied. We requested $9 million. It's just a matter, to the federal government, nothing ever moves quickly, and they could postpone it.
Which department was that through again? Do you recall?
It's not through any particular department. It was through Congresswoman McDonald Rivet's office. Congressionally directed spending is what the
Okay,
request was.
that answered the questions. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Zanotti.
And I know it's from years ago, but this contamination, that was from us, right? We caused the problem from our training, didn't know it was. And then my understanding is that the neighboring ground has contamination too, where we got ball fields and playgrounds. Is that correct, or?
I can't speak to what's outside of the property. I know it's been tested. I know that, again, Shelley would probably have those numbers. I know it was nothing compared to what we have on the Fremont site.
And I don't support that we should have people working there, but, you know, I question what our liability is to the property next door. I mean, a foul ball from the baseball field goes on your property. I mean, I don't know if it broke any windows yet, but I mean, that basically borders the property that we have kids and players digging up pitchers' mounds and everything else. And is that some liability that might be ours down the road?
Is that a question? All right, you're just kind of open-ended question to.
Can I say something?
Okay, Commissioner Charlevoix.
I just wanted to say that this is the DuPont company, and there's a big wad of money that was against that company, and they invented PFAS. It's on Teflon pans. I don't know if you know. Speaking about this, the flow of this stuff, I had somebody dig into it. I don't have the information, but it's flowing towards the river. Luckily, it's not flowing towards McGregor School. It's nightmarish to think about it. But again, this stuff's all over the place, and it has been for 50 years. I got a blood test coming up. I was going to get a PFAS test, but you know, I've read from anywhere from $400 to $800. Not doing it, but you know, it's a fact. This stuff, it's like the horses out of the barn. You know, it's not the city's fault. It's DuPont invented this stuff. They had scientists tell them, "You really want to use this stuff?" They told them not to. They did anyway. That's.
All right, any other comments? Okay, seeing none, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate the present. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm going to put one of our employees on notice here. You want to come up, Shelley? I think it's important for Shelley because she's been involved in this ever since we've noticed that there's there, and she's been involved. So she can talk about the risk and what the levels are in the adjoining property, all of the above.
Yeah, so we did test the adjoining property, the school. There is PFAS present, but at a much, much, much smaller amount than what's on the fire station property. The school had been notified. We've followed everything that Eagle has told us we have to do from a notification standpoint, as well as the owners in the vicinity of the fire station. We tested in the right-of-way, and so those owners who had positive tests that came in above allowed criteria according to the state were sent notification, owners and the renters. So if they were rentals, the occupants also got a letter. This was a couple of years ago, so we didn't receive any response from the school or from the adjacent homeowners. There is not a surface contamination issue. So there is not an issue with somebody sitting on the grass having a picnic. The contamination is below ground. It's not at the surface. If it was at the surface, Eagle would have required us to fence off the property and restrict entry. And that's not a requirement right now. So Eagle has decided there is not a surface contamination issue. So it's safe to walk on.
All right, Commissioner Shalaway, you had a question.
Yeah, so is it safe to cut the grass there?
Yes,
It is, well, they
is.
just said it wasn't.
yes, it's safe to cut the grass. I
Can
wouldn't go
can
put
I
a
ask
shovel
what-
in the
Can I
ground.
ask what your title is?
Right at the moment, I'm the Community Development Director.
Okay, but you know about this stuff?
Yes, I worked for an environmental consulting firm.
You know how deep the contamination goes in the
Yes.
soil by the, how deep?
It's down to the clay layer, so it's about, I believe it's 8 feet.
8 feet?
Because we do have a clay layer underneath the fire station, which is consistent with a lot of
Are
basins.
you knowledgeable about remediating this?
Yes, we dig it out and dispose of it, but you can never get it all gone.
You've never heard of peroxide or sunflowers?
There are a lot of research and I would say articles on different ways to get rid of PFAS. Sometimes it depends on how long the chains of the PFAS are, what will work, and whether it's destructive enough or absorbent enough to be able to be treated.
From what I've read, aside from hauling it away, it's pretty new how to remediate it, isn't it?
Depends on the circumstance.
Aside from hauling it away, which is the most expensive way.
Sometimes not. So over on the middle ground, we're not hauling it away, we're actually putting in a colloidal carbon wall to filter it. So it depends on the circumstance and what's the end use of the property. Fire stations are unique in the fact that they're considered residential because they're sleeping quarters for firefighters. And so it can't be treated like a normal industrial or commercial building. It has to be treated as residential, and we have to meet residential criteria with the state.
Okay, well, if the contamination is 8 feet down and the fire station's at ground level, where is the serious threat?
Right at the moment, to the occupants of the building, there is not a direct threat. That has been proven.
Well, I just sat here and was told how dangerous it is for our firefighters, and I'm getting two different answers, and I would like the correct answer.
That is the answer we've received from the state.
So you're saying the fire station is safe?
From the moment, yes, at the moment.
Well, I got two different answers here tonight.
That is what Eagle has informed us based on the location of the contamination. Now, I will say that there is also contamination in the asphalt. So again, as long as people aren't running around digging, theoretically, yes, it should be safe.
Can you speak to, isn't it the most serious thing to be drinking water with PFAS in it?
Absolutely, or eating food that contains PFAS.
As opposed to walking over land that's contaminated. When you drink that into your body, and you can even filter that.
Absolutely. The fire station is on public municipal water, so if there was a water well there, then we would have a significant issue.
As I've mentioned before, we have a closed system. If there were wells, I don't know what's outside of there, but it would be even worse if we had wells.
Yes.
We have a closed, pressurized system, so
For our
PFAS
water,
is
yes.
not getting into our water.
But the big concern on that site is it's getting into the storm sewer and the septic that's going out to the wastewater treatment plant. And so they're receiving water that's higher in PFAS than what's acceptable, and then
Okay.
they have to filter and report that to a different division of Eagle. So we would really like to get the storm sewers cleaned up, which would mean
Okay.
putting a liner in.
So doesn't it make sense that you could clean that site? I mean, how far will $1 million go? I heard we got a grant for $1 million. How far will it go? Do you
It
know?
should be able to clean up the majority of the site. Again, PFAS doesn't ever completely go away.
Oh,
But getting it down to levels that it's more acceptable for Eagle for that site, yes, that amount should cover that in addition to the relatively small amount to demolish the building because the building is rather
So
small.
in your opinion, the site could be clean and we could remodel that station?
I don't think that remodeling the station would be something that I would be able to give an opinion on because that's not my
Okay, good.
area of expertise.
Gotcha. Well, they do call them forever chemicals, right? Because they just don't break down.
Correct.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Questions? Am I good?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. All right, next order of business, thank you, is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Commissioner Rundberg.
Move that we adopt the agenda.
Is there a second? Commissioner Tenney.
Second.
Thank you. Do any members of the commission wish to add any item to the agenda? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the agenda?
Commissioner Coakley.
Yes.
Doyle.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
Zanati.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rundberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Kubit.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, the agenda for this evening has been adopted. Next order of business is the consent agenda. Do any members of the commission wish to make a change to the consent agenda? Commissioner Coakley.
Yes, I'd like to pull number 5. City manager recommends the assignment of assumption and agreement of sale for vacant land from BCM Hotel and Bay City Hospitality in the total amount of $37,500.
All right, we'll have that on the regular agenda. Any other items? Commissioner Zanati.
Poll number 11.
Could you just read it and make sure or briefly describe what one that?
Sorry. Commission as a whole resolution supporting moving forward with plans for development of a new fire station number 2.
All right, thank you. We'll add that to the regular agenda. Anything else? Okay, seeing no one, the next order of business calls for public input on the consent agenda. This is the opportunity for citizens to remove an item from consent for consideration on the regular agenda. If anyone in the audience wishes to make a change, please come to the microphone, print your name on the registration sheet, state your name and address for the record, and the item you wish to have considered on the regular agenda. All right, is there a motion on the consent agenda? Oh, do we have it? That's on regular agenda, correct? Yeah, that's on a regular agenda already. You'll have an opportunity later. All right. Anything else to have on the regular, to be pulled off consent agenda? Okay. Oh, make sure you state your name and address and the item you wish to.
My name is Vanessa Zerad, and I have a concern in regards to our public safety. As you stated.
So this is not a public comment period?
Oh,
so,
my apologies.
Yeah, that'll be coming up. Yep. All right. Anything else? Anybody like to, item specific that's on consent that would like to be removed? Okay. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second? All right, Commissioner Morris.
Second.
All right, will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the consent agenda?
Commissioner Doyle.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
Zanati.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Rundberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Kubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, consent agenda items have been approved. Next order of business calls for public input. Under the rules of the City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. This is the opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding any agenda item or any other matter. If anyone wishes to address the commission, please come forward, print your name on the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. We do ask you be respectful when addressing the mayor and commission. Do know that public is a one-way communication, and the mayor and commissioners cannot answer questions at this time. Please meet with them after the meeting if you need further information.
Hi, my name is Luke Pavlacik.
An address.
There you go. I'd like to talk about the new city manager contract that comes up. I think you guys are spending way too much money, and this is absolutely egregious. The consultant that you guys went with is obviously corrupt and sent some of his friends and gave you guys numbers that are wrong. The actual numbers in the U.S. for an average of our size city is 130 to 180,000 in the U.S. That's the average. gap. He's on the high end of that. Apparently, the consultant told you low end is 165, high end is 180. That's crazy. In Michigan, the average is $90,000 to $130,000 for a city, or just in Michigan completely. So the fact that he's looking to do it at $165,000 plus another $5,000 for gas money and whatever else he gets for it, I think the position is worthy of somebody, an executive of the town that would do it for $0. That's what we should be looking for. I can't do that, but I want to put my name in the hat. I want you guys to reject his contract as I see it. The moment he said no to the contract and didn't sign it and came back with something new is an opportunity to reject his new contract and reject him and open up to new applications. I've handled $1 million budgets. My biggest direct report was 8 people. I understand that's 130 or more people to manage, but I can handle the city for the next month to month. We can get rid of Dana. What I'll do is I'll do 15-minute one-on-ones with each person within my purview, figure out what they think that their job is, and then relay all of that back to the public and to the commission. And then week 2, I'll address all of the important issues that came up in these conversations. And then week 3, I'll readdress one-on-ones again to see what everybody thinks about the efforts that I put in. And I can do that for 2 to 3 months while you guys take time to look for somebody that will actually do it for a reasonable price, somebody that actually cares about the city, not somebody that's going to negotiate against the city. Obviously, the consultant firm found somebody from Good Marketing, and not even spelled good, G-O-O-D, it's spelled G-U-D. So we got a marketing guy that's never been a city commissioner or city manager that wants to come in, and he's asking for more money and more things. I want you guys to reject that contract. I've sent my resume to all of your guys' emails. You guys have it in your inbox, what I'm capable of doing, what I've done with my career and my life. I'd like you guys to consider me. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward for public input?
Hi, my name's Robert Schindehead. I live at 1805 Fraser. First of all, I live half a block from the fire station, number 2, so it should be of concern to me. But talking about fire station number 5, it seems to me like the repairs that are needed there aren't that serious as far as money goes, like a new roof. But a roof is a very important thing if you want to preserve the building. And I don't know why we're not spending more time and energy just fixing up 5 and getting it in a condition where at least we can maintain it and it's not going to require a lot of additional expenditure. But getting back to 2, this thing with the PFAS, I first heard about it when they were having problems at the Air Force bases with it. And I don't know much about it at all, but I think it's something to do with fire retardant, and that's why the fire department was using it. Now, what about all the guys? I mean, who were the guys working for the fire department that sprayed all this stuff around? What were they doing? And did they actually use that on house fires in Bay City? I would think that if they went over to a house or wherever and sprayed it with PFAS, then we need to be concerned about that as well. And then how does it get to 8 feet down to the clay? How did it get there? Well, I guess it must have started on the ground. So they sprayed it around up in the ground, above ground, and then it's slowly been sinking down. But I think the responsibility here is Eagle. Now, I've been hearing a lot of stuff. A lot of people are unhappy with this Eagle. I don't know. They're always changing their name from the DEQ, and they're moving the furniture around. I don't know what they're doing with Eagle, but we have Eagle, and they come around and they tell us what we can't do. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. What can we do? Why doesn't Eagle have a website? The PFAS should be, this affects everybody in the community, and we should have access to the scientific information that's available as far as what this PFAS is, where it came from. Someone mentioned DuPont, but we got Dow Chemical. They make a lot of nasty stuff too. I think people forgot about Agent Orange, but, you know, we had warehouses in Bay City at one time that stored Agent Orange, and that was an issue at some point, and then it just disappeared. I've never heard anything more about it. But we hear about all the servicemen, our wonderful servicemen who were affected by Agent Orange in terrible ways. And I think the same thing is true of PFAS. Now, where are all the firemen that worked with this PFAS? Is Eagle monitoring their health to see what kind of, have they contracted any cancers? Or, I mean, what does PFAS do to you anyways? There's a lot of questions. And when you start talking about scientific stuff like this chemistry, the stuff that Dow Chemical deals with, they got all these PhDs and everything working on this stuff over there, and there's a concept called peer review. You put together a theory or a paper, you write a paper, and then you publish it. And then all the other people that know about this stuff, they review it, and they read it, and they find out, they get to the truth of the matter. And we need to get to the truth of this matter. Now, I think that the DPW site has a lot of potential, but one thing that worries me about that site is the traffic. When they finish that bridge, Salzburg gets a lot of traffic. And if a fire truck is going to try to get through to a fire, you know, isn't that going to impede them to a certain degree? I mean, are we going to have to worry about that? And so as far as location goes, I don't really think it's the best location, actually, in terms of traffic management. But I trust our fire department. And you know, these guys are professionals, and we talked about the ICE problem with the police. These guys are professionals, and I defer to them. I believe that they're doing what they think is best, and that's good. But I do have a lot of questions about it. Just as was brought up earlier, if Eagle tells us we have to completely remediate the two, then why can't we build there? I mean, they just say, no, you can't. They don't really, you know, this gets back to the peer review and the science behind it. Where is the science? And I'm also concerned about it getting into the sewers, because I remember back when they were lining the sewers, when I first moved into my house, they had a project going, they were lining the sewers, and I went out and talked to the guys. I asked them how they did it. They gave me a sample of the material that they use, these cloth tubes that they run through there, and they have cameras that run through there and all this stuff. And so I asked a commissioner about that, and apparently we have a program that's still underway, because I thought that was over. I remember they were doing it when I moved in, and then there was a big bunch of people were complaining that it was too expensive, and they shut it down. And I thought that was the end of it, but apparently we're still doing that. So why aren't they prioritizing, I mean, why isn't this part of that original program, and why haven't they prioritized, you know, Garfield and Fremont there where the fire station is? Because that's something that's important, you know. That was, apparently, you know, the water treatment plant, I was very impressed with that place when we had tours and stuff. Those guys really do a great job over there. I don't think they get enough credit either. I mean, they take our waste, you know, when we flush the toilet, they have to deal with
Time.
Commissioner Tenney.
Move to provide the speaker with 2 additional minutes.
Commissioner Doyle.
Second.
Is there any objection to give the speaker 2 more minutes? Seeing none, the speaker has 2 more minutes.
So the PFAS is showing up at the wastewater treatment plant, and they noticed it. So that means they're doing their job down there, and that's good. So there's a lot of people that work for the city that work very hard and and know a lot. But this is a community issue. This fire station, and we brought up this big PFAS problem, and I think I think that's the same problem we had with the bridges, is we should have gone to the state and twisted their arm in whatever way we can. I mean, you're giving Peters credit, but, you know, he got the money from the federal government. That comes from the federal government. He's just managed it and managed to get us some money to go ahead and build a new station. And if they build it down at the DPW site, I'm not going to really object to it, but I just don't understand why, after we remediate the whole site, Eagle is still telling us that we can't just rebuild the place. I mean, there's a funny Steve Martin movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where he grows up in the Appalachians or someplace down there in this old shack and everything, and then he makes all kinds of money, and then he goes back and he tears down his old house and he builds another house that's exactly like the other one. It's a pretty funny movie anyway, but I don't know why we can't just build another fire station in the same place. I mean, I respect the fire chief and what he's saying, and DPW would be great. You'd keep your boat there, and that would be fun and everything. And I know that's very important. And that's another thing. We need to get up after the Coast Guard and find out what's up, and get after the federal government and tell them we need a Coast Guard station, a fully staffed 24/7 Coast Guard station in this town. This is a deep water port. We've got a tremendous recreation industry, and we had a Coast Guard station, and it's slipped away, and we need to get it back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward with public input?
Paul Clydo, 1713 10th Street. Keep it real quick today. Just in regard to the city manager contract, I did just look up what a comparable city was that recently signed one. City of Muskegon, Michigan has a population pretty similar to ours. They gave their city manager in 2022 a contract of $148,000. They had additional 6% for residency, so it went up to 156. I'd say after about 4 years of inflation, we're about on par with that. So that's just information I'd like to share. As for the fire stations, I agree, just as a resident, seeing all this from the outside, that this is a really tough decision. I can say from my point of view, I value public safety more than I value roads, so I think this fire station talk is the thing to have, because you can't have roads with a bunch of burned down buildings around them, right? But similarly, I am wary of something that our city staffer brought up. I'm sorry, I forgot the name already, where she said the firefighters were safe already. I think the follow-up question I want to ask in response to that is for how long? Because we know that Station 5 is an urgent issue, and Station 2 is an issue, but how far down the line before the PFAS becomes a direct risk to their health, if it's not currently a direct risk to their health right now? If I were making a decision, I would want to know that, because I want to know how much time we can buy, right? Because maybe we can do some amount of work on Station 5 and some amount of work on Station 2 right now and then finish it up later. I don't know. This is all beyond me. But I know Station 5 is urgent. Station 2 is a question mark. So I'm wondering about that. And then after we resolve that, that's where roads, at least for me, come into play. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to change the subject here. My name is Forrest Robinson. I'm the chairman of the South End Citizens District Council. And I'm here today to announce that the South End Citizens District Council is again hosting our annual Back to School Bash. It's on Thursday, August 13th at the Senior and Child Development Center, located at Fremont and Broadway Streets in the South End from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're able to provide free school supplies and host this neighborhood block party thanks to the funding we get from the Barry Area Community Foundation Neighborhood Grant Program. It's very good. Foremost, I thank the members of the South End Council who dedicate their time and resources into making this quality event. Peggy Condon Watson, the director of the center, and her staff for the use of the facility and grounds. Ed Rosinski for making popcorn and coordinating participation. John and Denise Davidson for cooking the hot dogs, doing the bike drawing, and recruiting participation. Mary Johnson and the Dream Center for the lemonade stand. Robert Schindiet and Mike Kierkew for a setup and takedowns of site, and many outstanding volunteers who make this a family-friendly evening in the neighborhood and give children a chance to interact with our first responders. We thank our community partners, Devine Ivy's been especially helpful with Bay City Electric, Bay City Public Safety, and the community policing officers, Bay County Sheriff, MedStar Ambulance, Portsmouth Fire Department, Peters Family McDonald's Restaurant, PNC Bank, A.T. Frank Carpet, McLaren Foundation, and Greenstone Farm Credit Services, and new this year, the Bay County Library, who is bringing the bookmobile to our site. And I'd just like to add a personal note. I was able to get a recognition letter framed for presentation from Governor Whitmer to Peggy Condon Watson, the center director, who is now celebrating her 50 years of Child Development Center. Fireworks Director Earl Bovia and our County Executive Jim Barsha read it to Peggy on Friday, July 3rd at the Fireworks Festival. It was a very nice presentation and brought her to tears. And think about that, 50 years of working with kids. With that, I hope to see you all in the neighborhood on Thursday, August 13th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward?
Hello. I just wanted to talk about...
Name and address for the record.
Kimberly Urban, 3012 Garfield Avenue, Bay City, Michigan. So we have an event coming up. It's actually a very sentimental event, if you will, but it's for a great cause. So every year we hold what's called a Night to Remember. It honors those we have lost to overdose and those who are still struggling in the substance use disorder field, in recovery, whichever. And it is an amazing night where there's an entire slideshow to remember like those we have lost as a candlelight vigil. And people can come kind of honor those that we've lost, people in recovery, have that space to remember either loved ones or celebrate their own recovery. We take sponsorships, we take a silent auction, all of these different things to raise money for people in recovery to be able to give them that start that they need. So whether that be rental, whether that be, housing, electricity, things like that. And we have a whole entire board that approves it, that kind of thing. So I have the QR code. If you'd like to get tickets, I would love to see more people at it. After the event, people are always like, gosh, I didn't even know that was going on. So I am here to say this event does happen. And if you'd like to get some tickets and stuff like that, you can do that.
What's the date?
Oh, sorry. Yes, the date is August 27th at 6 p.m. I figured everybody was just going to line up and scan the code and they'd have the date. So if you have any questions, please let me know. 27th, 7/22/7. It is at the Osgood, right here, like by the Masonic Temple. I'm not sure if everybody's recognizing that name yet, but yes, it is at the Osgood. It starts at 6 p.m. There's a silent auction. There is all kinds of things. Dinner is served. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can also check out the event on NARA. It's called NARA on Facebook, Neighbors Advocating Recovery Awareness, and that'll give you more information too. Any questions?
No, it's not really a Q&A.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right, thank you. Anybody else like to come forward, public input?
All right, my name's Katie Ball. I'm at 302 McCormick Street, and I'm just here to talk about number 7, funding using the opioid settlement funds for a recovery event and then for education on Kratom in our community. I was here, the last time I was here, I talked about Kratom and how we have had deaths in our community from the use of Kratom. We talked about, I believe, that it works on the opioid receptor. It's a highly addictive. And there is a derivative, a semi-synthetic derivative that comes from it that people are selling at our gas stations that is up to 20 times more potent than morphine. Great news, the DEA recently put a temporary ban on that. Great news. However, that means that just like the opioid epidemic, we have a whole bunch of people who are able to get a substance who are now going to be withdrawing, similar to an opioid withdrawal, and they're going to be looking for something else because withdrawal sucks. So we need to be proactive and we need to educate the public. What are the withdrawal symptoms you might be experiencing? What are some potential treatment options and things that they can expect so that they don't turn to street drugs? Because the fact is it works on opioid receptors. That means that heroin, fentanyl are going to cure withdrawal. But we don't want people to go that way. We need to provide treatment options. So that's part of it. And just one thought, something to think about is that they say every $1 spent on prevention, so by providing this education, preventing substance use disorder, is $10 saved in treatment. And then the recovery event, it's going to be Recovery by the Bay. Hopefully you guys have already started hearing about it. We anticipate it's going to be a very large event. There's about 19 of us planning it right now, representing 14 different agencies, which is awesome. And we already have over 30 agencies who said, count me in, I want a tent down there. We're counting on that, helping to reduce stigma, bring community together. So it's estimated about 16.8% of the population has a substance use disorder. That's about 4,800 Bay City residents. So think about that, 4,800 people with a substance use disorder in our community. And as we know, it doesn't only affect them. So it's their family members too. And we want to provide this event where everybody can come together, whether or not you are in recovery, treatment, active illness, or maybe you don't even know somebody who has a substance use disorder. That's very, very rare. But we want everybody to come together, help break the stigma, and then provide resources as well at that event. Like I said, we already have over 30 agencies who want to join us. That's going to be on September 26th at Winona Park. So at that event, in our planning sessions, we are very much trying to keep the community very involved. So like I said, there's about 19 of us on the planning committee, 14 people representing agencies, the majority of people actually being in recovery, and the people not representing agencies also in recovery. So it's really, really great event. We're excited about it. And I hope that all of you guys can come. And I will also be here for questions later if anybody wants to ask any.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward, public input?
Hello, my name is Dustin Kosick. I reside at 505 Braddock Street. So here we kind of go again. I'm starting to wonder if the city can actually fund anything, because we're just talking about two more. We're talking about a road millage now we're talking about a fire millage. Last week, week before that was about trash. You start seeing how this is adding up. Like, this is crazy that you continually are asking your citizens to continually pay for this stuff, right? That's why we pay taxes. At least that's why I thought we paid taxes. I thought that's why I paid property taxes. So you're telling me that the taxes that are taken out of my paycheck every week for the federal government and the state, and along with my property taxes, is not sufficient enough to fund this city? I mean, it didn't take a year, it didn't take a day, it didn't take a month for any of these infrastructures to fall apart. It fell apart because the city wasn't taking care of this stuff, period. And the citizens are seriously starting to get fed up with it. You talk about the roads and a road millage. Really? Germanian Street? I have two family members that live on Germanian Street, at 505 Germanian Street, right there at, I think it's called Meadow River Walk. That road is not in disrepair. You're going to tell me that that road is in more disrepair than State Street that leads to the mall, that has now all these new places like Five Below, the new Hobbycraft store there. You got a new financial bank moving up over there. There's going to be another place moving into where the Dobbs Center used to be right there. And You're going to tell me that that road is not priority. It's falling apart. It's been like fixed like 3 times in the past like this year. It's insane that's happening. I'd really truly like more transparency on how they're exactly figuring out what roads are like the ones that need to be fixed, because that just blows my mind that we're talking about Germanian Street. It's crazy to me. Sorry. And I really truly feel like maybe our money is just being abused. And we started talking about these fire stations because we already had this conversation before with the fire stations. Is ridiculous. Like obviously we just found out that it was a detrimental to the firefighters and now it's not. We don't even have Fire Station 5. I think we need to get that up and running. We need to have a fire station in every area. That needs to be up and running before we do anything with 2. I'm sorry, and I'm for public safety 100%. I actually went to school for criminal justice, so I just can't believe that we're talking about this. And I want to thank Zanotti for bringing it up, because as I'm writing these notes, I was like, I didn't think anybody was going to bring it up. But not only do we talk about the firefighters, but we have the residents all in that area. You have a baseball field right next door to it, that's being utilized like especially during the season of like right now for Bay City Central and the softball. That's an elementary school. What's being done to take care of that little area around there? Are we going to move those ball fields and move the central ball fields to a different location? Are we going to start taking the school down? Because I think that's crazy that we're sending elementary kids to play in that area. I don't know exactly how far it goes, but you're not going to try to tell me that the PFAS has only stayed in that little area. That's ridiculous. Again, I agree with some people saying that. I think it's a scare tactic. I think that we want to get a fire station down here by Uptown, and so we can get a boat. And I just think that right now, those are the last things that the citizens need. We need roads fixed that we have neglected for like decades. We already got rid of the bridges because we didn't want to fix those. And as I already read the letter to you guys the last time I was up here, that my property taxes have gone up almost $250 in the past year, as I read that letter to you guys. And now you're going to tell me it's going to get raised more? I originally was paying $725 a mortgage a month, and it's up to $908 right now. And now you're going to tell me it's going to get raised up more? I mean, I'm probably going to end up having to move. And it's sad. That's sad that I literally lived in this community my whole life. And I'm going to end up getting ran out of it because y'all cannot freaking fund this city. I just don't get it. Thank you.
Bruce Eckhart, 810 Germania Street, Bay City, Michigan. July 6th was a day I will not forget. I was driving down Henry. I see all these fire trucks going by me, big ones. Where are they going? They make a left, where I usually make a left. They went under the block. They made a right on Germania. That's where I live. I kept watching them. All of a sudden, they pull in front of my house. They're all over the place. My house was on fire, by the way. I owe so much to these guys here, these firefighters. Unbelievable. My wife said I was just coming home. She was outside the house. She heard the smoke alarm go off, and my caveman downstairs, she opened the door, black smoke all over the place. She called 911. She says she can't believe how quick they showed up. She says them guys went down there, mask on, everything. It's unbelievable. And when I showed up, I met the captain, all these guys, and everybody was coordinated. All I got to tell you, once you have a fire like that, you will appreciate these guys right here. And also, there are policemen there. There's one guy I talked to. He says he was a policeman, cross training. I thought that was very impressive. He was in there too. They always, I can't say enough. I say if you want more millage for your fire department, I'm for it. That or the police. I'm all for those two guys because I want to protect my community. And I just can't say enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My wife says the same. You saved our house. We have a beautiful home. 1806. That's a big one. You guys know that already. That's on Riggs. All right. That was the good stuff. Now the bad stuff. I see this that's why I missed the last meeting because of fire. But I see that contract with Haven. I would say cancel it, but my problem is the fact that it's the commissioners, especially mine, Ward 6, and the other ones that followed should, I don't know what, I say get rid of them or vote them out. They took that position to save me money. They know what common sense is. That's what I notice about these, what do you call them on the other party? Democrats, Trump calls them. I can see why. Common sense. Now let me tell you, Mr. Commissioner, if you had a business, $800–900 million, who would you take? An executive car salesman or a guy in that field from the Sault Locks up there? That it does managing. He knows all the fields of that aspect. And yet you want to take this other guy and train him for 30 days, and he's supposed to deal with different departments. They play him games with him. He's going to cost me a lot of money. So I think either you should terminate him, and you guys should, I'll tell you, I hope the people in every ward see who you are and don't vote for it, because you're not taking care of Bay City. You're looking for somebody, you're taking care of the, what shall we say, the public, not the public, the political parties, certain parties you're getting in, I've noticed. The association. What'd you say?
Please refrain from the back.
Refrain from comment.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to tell you. Seems like these people that do that get promoted. We had one commissioner that somehow the bridge got passed. I remember that. I was against that, but he somehow pulled it through. And that same commissioner, what did he do? He signed a check. I still don't understand how he got to sign the check, just a commission. I thought we had other people qualified to do that, but he did it, and there's no explanation where it went to and all that. He got promoted. Now he's mayor. Wow. And he's going to move up again. So I don't know. It reminds me of the other party in the government. They do the same thing. They getting promoted. Where's all our money going to? You guys we want money for the fire department from the federal government. We want all kinds of money. We can't get it because the Samoa's got it. California's screwing the hell out of us. Whitmore is messing it up. All these other parties are just taking advantage of American people and laughing at us. It's not federal, it's state, and it's local. So you guys, do us a favor, just resign, because you're not doing us justice. Thank you.
Anybody else like to come forward for public input?
My name is Vanessa Zariat. I am a recovering alcoholic and addict of 5 years. Every day is a hard struggle. My home has been being broken into, my car has been being broken into, and I have tried to report it to my police department. I was out on German Road and I was threatened to be shot, and it took my sheriff's department over an hour while my perpetrator sat in the driveway. It took me 2 phone calls to 911 for somebody to come to me. I have personally called the police department several times over the last week in regards to my home being broken into, all to be treated like I am a criminal. I am not sure where victims are supposed to go for help when we are in recovery and treated like criminals. I used to smoke weed as recreational, and now I'm in fear of federal retaliation by my local police department because I am seeking help. I live behind Central High School. I watch kids in the parking lot take pictures of me while I am in my driveway. I am constantly being tormented and harassed. I have shut down my Facebook. I have been harassed on Facebook. I have been jumped. I have made police reports, all to be treated like a criminal. I left a message at your office on Friday in regards to this. I am in fear for my life. I spend all of my time watching my cameras, and I'm not sure where I can go to feel safe when I can't even turn to my public officials. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next order of business is remarks of the mayor and the managers, and the commissioners. Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you to the chair. To the speaker who brought up perhaps pausing Station 2's point, we do have 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, to utilize those grant funds for the tear down of Station 2. So I fear that waiting is no longer an option. Also, just for reference, Station 2 takes about 4 times the calls that Station 5 was taking. I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything with 5 at all, but certainly Station 2 should be on everybody's radar. Also, on a lighter note, we have the 4th Ward Block Party coming up August the 8th, 1 o'clock, Rexford Jablonski Park. We'll be giving away backpacks. I'll be grilling a gazillion glizzies again. Some fellowship with neighbors. Come on down, have a good time. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Coakley.
Yes, just Trinity Episcopal Church, 815 North Grant, is having their summer spaghetti dinner Tuesday, July 28th, 5 to 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased Sunday during coffee hour or by calling the church at 892-5813 and leave a message.
All right, Commissioner Cubitt.
Yeah, just a brief report. We celebrated recently our 65th anniversary with our sister city, Ansbach, Germany. So I participated in those, and right now we still have students along with teachers that are still doing an exchange program over there, and we will have some folks coming here to Bay City in September, and so I just wanted to give a heads up to look forward to that. It was a lovely ceremony. It was a lovely interaction. Again, no city tax dollars involved, but I look forward to the opportunity to host them in September, and happy to work with anybody who might be interested in that too.
Yes, I'm happy Commissioner Cubitt was able to go as a representation from the city, so thank you for that. Commissioner Zanotti.
I just wanted to make mention in our updates from a week ago, we had a report about all the cooperation public safety got working the July 4th Fireworks Festival. Pretty good reach out by our neighbors in Bangor and Portsmouth and other places, and as well as all the extra effort from the city staff, DPW, and that to pull that huge event off.
All set? Anybody else? I do have a couple items I know I passed along. There is a tree in Carroll Park that has a huge split in it. I've talked to quite a few people there that are concerned that, the pickleballers, that it's right over the pickleball courts, and they're pretty concerned about that. And I understand it's being looked at. Is that accurate? Perfect. And I was talking to a resident that's on Franklin and 19th Street. They have a drain that backs up frequently. It's a new drain. We put a new curb and gutter, and there's a drain that, and it's so small, these narrow passages, so it backs up frequently. And I was looking down the road, and it was a newer drain also, but so I don't know what determines what size of the drains we put in. as they're looking at the engineering, did they say, hey, this situation here calls for this kind of drain with these much open holes versus down the road? So I couldn't figure out, I guess I was gonna email about that to figure out why they chose the different drain sizes. Because I would think if you could move the one drain or put in the kind of with the wider holes, it would cause less of a backup issue. And then I had a resident, I know on our trash fees, you know, we had the issue with not giving people, they wanted a warning notice. Do we have a similar, we don't have a similar system if there's overflow. If there's, we allow for 2 bags over, and then, but if we have more than that, say they have 4 or 5, we just send them a bill right away. I don't know if it's something we want to look at where we give notice. I don't know what kind of problem that would cause. You know, I had a resident reach out. He's kind of concerned that, you know, he doesn't have $200, and now I understand that, you know, that's in our code, but, you know, we don't have a warning notice. I don't know if that's something the commission would be interested in looking at some point. So, and then, you're going to mention the National Night Out?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so August 4th, is it 5 to 7? Sounds about right. So August 4th, National Night Out. It's put on by, coordinated through our Department of Public Safety, correct? And in Winona Park, it's always, every year seems to be bigger, and they do a great job. It's all about connecting community, getting people out and about in their community. So look, there's a lot going on in August, so be prepared, get out and about. And so that's all I have. Oh, Commissioner Tenney.
Apologies, I forgot something. I had a constituent raise something to me where they have a family member who's only here, maybe a couple months total out of the year. Okay, they're back and forth, live out of state. Due to low utility usage, that property has been considered an abandoned house. And because of that, they can't insure it, which to me is a concern because, of course, they're not there most of the time, right? So I don't know what we could do to look at that, or maybe if it would be appropriate if city manager could kind of tell us, like, if there's a threshold that folks could stay above with utility usage, perhaps, so they don't get in that category?
So I think you're talking about the readiness to serve charge. Is that what
I believe so.
Okay. Ironically, we've started to look at that a little bit. We've asked the city attorney to look at the definition of readiness to serve and what other communities are doing. I guess it just depends. I can ask Bob this, but it depends on where they're hooked up at the curb still, at the curb stop. You want to come up and explain that, Bob? But yeah, we recently have looked at that.
You're specifically asking for the customer surcharge, correct?
Yep. Well, they're not concerned with the surcharge or the utility cost so much. My understanding was they've used such little utilities that their house is considered abandoned, right? So.
The way our ordinance reads right now, that the only way you can get out from that is to abandon the site. We cannot cut the service away from the site because now you have a house that's non-livable because there's no utilities.
Okay, they do have the utilities, you know, and they pay the monthly, whatever it is, nominal fee, right? Just to say that they have a bill.
Right.
And they do come here, you know, sporadically and use water and things like this. So is there a way to get them out of that category right now, I guess?
I don't foresee any way right now. I mean, if we are to look at the ordinances and stuff like that and change that, but you also got to understand that's the revenue that supports my department. You start taking away revenue from my department, I start losing people.
Yeah, we're not concerned with the revenue part of it, just the category of it being an abandoned property. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll have to do a little bit more research on that.
Okay, yeah, I understand it's current city manager's last day on the job.
No,
so-
that's fine. I
think
can get a hold of
I think
somebody
if you get a
tomorrow.
hold of Sue Coggin, because she's
Yeah.
the one that would make it an abandoned house, and then you
Correct,
guys
and
can work
that's
that
the category that I need to look at. to see if
Okay.
that's what's feasible or what's not feasible. I don't understand that myself, so.
Okay, yeah, greatly appreciated if you would follow up with me. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Yep, Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, I just wanted to take the opportunity that there's a good chance this will be the city manager's last meeting, and wanted to thank her for her years of service to the city and due diligence on getting back with anything that's ever asked from me. So appreciate it, and enjoy your retirement.
All right, the manager, do you have any? Well,
I just wanted to hit on the opioid settlement funds. We talked, Commissioner Tenney did a resolution for me to come forward with an application. We were able to award 2 agencies tonight, which is fantastic. On your desk, you do have a application that I did come up with. Maybe look that over and see if you have any changes or want something new. I recommend it going on the city website for people to apply, and they have some things that they need to add to it. IT has the information. I guess if something needs to be changed on that application, just contact Tony so he can change those fields. The other thing is I did want to thank Laura Cubitt for going to Ansbach. It really is a great sister city that we have, and also for representing us for our 65th year partnership. She actually represented us at the official signing of the Sister City Partnership with Ansbach, and I heard you represented us very well. Looking forward to the September when everybody is coming here. And for the trash process that you brought up, the ordinance has an appeal process. If something has an appeal, it goes to the city manager, and we look at the background and pictures and so forth. So there is a process to look at all of that. Just a quick little, not a goodbye, but I just want to tell people it's been an honor to serve the city of Bay City for the past 26 years. I'm deeply grateful for the residents, the elected officials, and especially the incredible employees who have made this journey so meaningful. You guys, I'm not supposed to do this. I want to mention the employees of the Bay City. I want to say thank you. Your dedication, professionalism, and commitment to serving our community often goes unseen, but your work really makes a difference every single day. It's been a privilege to work alongside such talented and caring people. Your knowledge, experience, and unwavering commitment to public service are among the city's greatest strengths. So as I leave, my hope is for the future that we can continue to value and trust our expertise of our staff. They're an exceptional resource dedicated to serving the public with integrity, professionalism, and a genuine commitment to making Bay City the best it can be. When elected leaders and professional staff work together with mutual trust and respect, our community is at its strongest. We have to work as a team going forward. Thank you for allowing me to serve this community that has meant so much to me. I will always be proud to be part of the Bay City family.
Thank you, Dana. You know, it's not typical for somebody to stay in one place for so long these days, right? That people come and go. So to have your longevity and tenure in one organization, we appreciate all you've done for the community. So thank you. Okay, do we have a public hearing? We do not have a public hearing. We do have a public hearing, okay. So, next order of business calls for a public hearing. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding the application for SC Ventures Bay City LLC for a 12-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate located at 500 Salzburg Avenue in the amount of $197,095. Under the rules of the City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. Is there a motion to allow for public hearing? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to allow for public hearing number 1.
Thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Cubit.
Second?
All right, thank you. So if anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing number 1, please come forward, sign the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record.
I already signed it, Robert Schindehead, 1805 Fraser. Yeah, this just came to my attention. I happened to watch the Planning Commission meeting where they were talking about this, and that's great that they're going to rehabilitate this building. I think they're talking about the big brown brick building. It used to be an electrical supply house or something. I used to buy stuff there when they were open, but it's been vacant for a long time. But I just wanted to mention there was something that came up at the Planning Commission. The lady next door is losing her driveway. She'd been using her driveway, and it was on their property. And she's an elderly lady, and they built a ramp that goes down to where she parks her car, and it's very important to her. And she had a problem because it's actually their property. So now they're going to build a parking lot there, and they told her she couldn't park her car in there anymore. And so she has a problem, and I don't know if the city, the Planning Commission was all there, and they heard what she had to say, and I don't know if her problem's been resolved, but I just wanted to mention it because I felt sorry for her, and I thought that we should make an effort to make sure she has a place to park her car so she can do what she needs to do. And it's the house, it's just, I don't know I can't remember the name of that street there that borders that building, but the railroad tracks are right there, and hers is the first house north of Salzburg. And it's adjacent to where they're going to put the parking lot for this new building. But it sounds like a really great development, so that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else for public hearing number 1? Okay. Next item of business is special orders. Will the clerk read the next item on the agenda?
Special Order Item 1, Commission as a Whole Resolution regarding application from SC Ventures Bay City LLC for a 12-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate located at 500 Salzburg Avenue in the amount of $197,095.
Is there a motion? Commissioner DeWitt? Oh, I thought I saw your hand.
I'll do it, move to approve, but I didn't have my hand.
All right. Is there a second? Commissioner Cubit?
Second?
All right, discussion. Commissioner Tenney.
Thanks to the chair. Through the chair to city manager, do we know if the resident that the speaker mentioned, the first house north of Salzburg, if the city has looked at doing anything for her so she's not without a driveway?
Yeah, we were unaware of that from the Planning Commission. I just chatted with Sarah a little bit about that, but I'm pretty sure that Neil Spencer would be reasonable to work with her. I mean, this is the first that we've heard it from the podium, but Sarah has a relationship with him and can talk to him about that.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you so much.
All right, anybody else? All right, so will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Commissioner Tenney?
Yes.
Zanotti?
Yes.
DeWitt?
Yes.
Runberg?
Yes.
Charlebois?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Cupit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, motion's been approved. Next item is regular business. Will the regular agenda items, will the clerk please read the next item of business?
From consent, item 5, city manager recommending the assignment, assumption, and agreement of sale for vacant land from BCM Hotel and Bay City Hospitality in the total amount of $37,500.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Runberg.
Move to approve item 5, city manager recommending assignment assignment, assumption, and agreement for sale of vacant land from BCM Hotel and Bay City Hospitality.
All right, is there a second? Commissioner Cubit?
Second?
Discussion, Commissioner Copeland?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions on this. There seems to be, I mean, where is this property exactly?
So our attorney that worked on this is here tonight. David McDonald is from Warner, Norcross, and Judd, so he can help answer those questions.
Hello, David McDonald. David McDonald from Warner, Norcross, legal counsel for the city. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Where is this property exactly?
So it's, I think it's at 6th Street and Water Street. It's used for the hotel near that area. It's a small, probably half an acre triangular piece used for parking for the hotel.
I'm just trying to visualize where it's at. So it's not at the DoubleTree then? It's on the other side of Winona Park? Yeah, a map would have been really helpful with this. And this is this part of the park, this property?
It is. It's that little triangular piece there.
Up here?
Usually the clerk needs to pass that out.
Yeah.
We'll have.
It's quite the big property.
On the drawing that is being distributed right now, you'll see there's like a yellow triangular piece. Like I said, it's probably less than a half an acre. And it's, again, used for the hotel.
And we had rent that out, or leased that out at $100 a year, and that was back when the cities had a stake in it, correct? So with us not having that, I mean, I'd like to send this back to staff and actually see the value of the property and get an idea of things with it. I mean, this would have been helpful prior to this, but I mean, we're looking to sell not only something of the city, but a city park property. And do we have to replace that part of the city park? We don't? We can just straight out sell part of it?
I think we have a deadline coming up too with the closing, so.
Yeah, actually, the closing, I think, actually took place already, so
Did
they're
it?
kind of waiting on us. But just to give you a little background, so there's already an existing lease that's been around for 25 years. We're getting paid a whole whopping $100 per year.
Have we been paid yet?
We have not been, my understanding is we've not been paid anything. So as part of this new deal, so what happened was the existing tenant was having financial problems. Their bank foreclosed on them. And so now there's going to be a new party taking over the lease. They are willing to catch up on all the rent, so they'll pay $2,500 in exchange for that assignment of the lease, which, by the way, we really don't have much of a choice. Under the existing documents, we're obligated to continue leasing this space even to successor tenants for a total of 100 years. So there's still another 75 years left on this lease. What I'm trying to do is get us out of this lease. We'll have a 2-year period, so we're going to allow them to assign the lease. They'll continue to pay $100 per year, but we'll have a 2-year period where we can sell this property to them for $35,000, which is a lot better than $100 per month. It'll get rid of any liabilities, any exposure we may have with respect to that property. They will also have, there's a third document where their lender will step in if there's a default, or they'll have the right to step in and take over that space. So I think this is a good opportunity for the city. For $35,000, we can get out of this lease and move on. Now, of course, there's some steps, some conditions that need to be made or met in order for us to sell this property to them. And that's why I've structured this as a put option, which is it will be totally in the city's control as to whether we sell this. We'll have to meet certain requirements. If we don't meet them, we won't sell it, and we'll just continue on with the lease.
When was the original one struck? How many years ago?
2001 was the original lease.
2001, so
Yeah.
25 years ago, and there was
Right.
no default because you didn't pay us any money? Not you, but they didn't pay us any.
Yeah, there was a default, but there was nothing really we could do. Because the lender was able to step in, we had to give notice to the lender. That didn't happen, so they still have the ability to cure that default, which is what they're doing.
But not as of yet.
Not as of yet. They will be doing it if we do this deal.
I don't know, I just not comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically you have to look at it this way. It's either stay with the status quo and get paid $100 per year for another 75 years, or take the opportunity to possibly sell this for $35,000, plus get paid your back rent you're due and owing.
Do we have the contract that's signed with them pertaining to this with us? I don't remember seeing it when I was looking through this.
We have, are you looking for the existing lease?
Yeah, the lease.
Yes, we have that.
That's all in the packet.
It was included in the package.
Yeah, I
yeah.
see it now.
All of it.
All right, good. I'm, like I said, I'm just not comfortable with selling something like this, so, thank you.
Commissioner Tenney?
Thank you to the chair. Sir, if I'm understanding correctly, we stand to make 28 to 30K off of this. Is that fair, in the long run, as opposed to?
35,000 to be exact, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the difference between that and the current lease. We'd make what, 7,500 over the course of the next 75 years,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And so, I was just taking that difference out. Anyway, I guess I could understand my colleague's objections about the park if it were anything significant. This is like the tiniest piece of grass on the edge. So I guess I would support us making some money off of something that's not been making us money, even based on the current lease, which is only $100 a year. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Yeah, and I would also, time value of money, right? Take that 35,000, invest it. 75 years from now, it's gonna be a much bigger number.
All right, Commissioner DeWitt.
Yeah, I'm just looking to clarification. I didn't see anything in the notes. Are there any underground easements or requirements for utilities that we're giving up with this?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, and then the lot agreement that they have where they can still close it during private events, that is going to be continuing, obviously, because they will officially own it instead of now where it's just leased. So where they currently, like there's an event in Winona Park, they put a sign up that says closed except for hotel visitors or hotel users. So that is also going to remain the same, correct?
I was not aware of any restrictions on them using that space. I think they use it for parking.
Correct. They use it for parking, not the city. So currently, they're going to continue to do that no matter what we do. Okay.
All set? Commissioner Morris?
Only have one question. How do we derive to that 37.5 number? How do we get to that number?
Well, we did talk to the assessor to get a valuation. That number actually came, we proposed a higher number. The new tenant came back with 35,000. We addressed it with the assessor here, and they said it was a fair value.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Zanotti.
And what happens if we don't reassign the lease to the new tenant?
We're obligated to sign the new
Okay,
lease.
okay.
So we're in a bad spot. So that's why I'm trying to get an opportunity for us just to get out of this thing, because it's such a low amount of rent.
Anything else? Commissioner Cubit?
So even if they paid up and we were stuck with the lease that was signed back in 2001 and they continued paying $100 per year for the whole rest of the 75 years, that's $10,000 total, and then we got full rights back to the property. It's still a sliver of their parking lot, and even if we got full rights back, as far as what our options would be in another 75 years, given the nature of the site, those options would be extremely limited. Is that correct?
You're saying for what we could use it for? Yes, I would think so.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Zanotti?
Yes.
DeWitt?
Yes.
Yes.
Charlebois?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Kubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
No.
Doyle?
Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
All right, motion's adopted. Will the clerk please call the next item on the agenda?
From consent, item 11, Commission as a whole resolution supporting moving forward with plans for development of the new fire station number 2.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there support? Commissioner Cubit.
Second?
Discussion. Yes, Commissioner Renberg.
I actually had one more question on it. Since we now know that the PFAS contamination is, well, what did they say, about 8 feet below is what they said? Is it possible, through the chair to the city manager, do we know if it's possible that I understand the drainage is a concern with the sewer system, where we use that remediation money to do everything except move forward on the plans to start building the new station? I'm just wondering if we can pump the brakes on Station 2 being rebuilt, if it's possible to address the contamination from getting into the sewer system, since it's 8 feet down and not an immediate safety issue.
I believe, like the public safety director and fire chief said, that we have to use those funds within a year for the demolition and cleanup.
Correct. But I'm just talking about the cleanup portion of it.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the sewer portion?
The sewer portion, yeah.
I don't think that involves cleanup of the sewer, does it? I mean, because it's going to still leak, in my opinion, right? Shelley just said yes. It's still going to continue to leak.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner. Okay, Commissioner Copeland.
Ms. Thurston, we have a quick question. She said it was up to 8 feet deep. Is it start before that, or is that as deep as it goes?
It's as deep as it goes, but I'd rather have her clarify that.
That's what I want to make sure of.
Without having the report in front of me, it's going to be anywhere from 2 feet to 8 feet. So anywhere in that region. Just to point out, though, it is also in the asphalt parking lot, and that's definitely not 8 feet down.
So that's surface.
That's surface, yes.
Right. I mean, is on that property, are there any restrictions that Eagle gave us? I mean, are we able to rebuild there, or?
Depends on how much we clean it up and whether Eagle decides that that's okay. I'm not going to speak for Eagle on that part because that's an after cleanup question. So that would be up to Eagle.
So what do you mean, how much we clean up? Do we got to clean up 8 foot deep all the way to the clay?
You have to understand how PFAS operates. It's not like PCBs, which many people are familiar with. They're sticky and they stay put. PFAS moves. So it depends on how well we can get the site cleaned up and what the levels look like afterwards. I can't predict that because PFAS moves.
I just wanted to make sure. I knew it was a little bit closer to the surface than that, but thank you. Same thing with this right here. I mean, we're not adding a millage. We are basically letting the citizens of Bay City decide that. And ultimately, that's what we are here to do, is let them make their choices, and whatever happens, happens. We are on a time frame with almost $1 million that was granted to us. If Bay City decides not to move forward with it, then so be it. But I feel we should let the citizens have a choice in this.
All right, Commissioner Chalwa.
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't see any reason why the cleanup can't get going as soon as the money's released, and I would like a definitive answer of, after it's cleaned up, can you remodel a building? I mean, as I said earlier, I said a lot of things earlier. I got a gold-plated estimate from down Detroit way, and they had a $5 million building. Now it's $10 million. Where did the $5 extra million come from? And I would like to see the new city manager review all of this. I want to make sure that we have the right information. And I will also say, Department of Public Works got a new building. I'm sure all departments want a new building. Well, I don't think we got the money for it. and I think we're 15 years out paying for the new Department of Public Works building. I'll also add that the site on the river where they want to put the new fire station, which is way out of the south end, by the way, I don't like that fact either. It needs to be in the south end, not midtown practically. That site is contaminated too. So as this site, it's got PFAS, you got to tear that down. Well, I'm not sure that's the case. I'd like to hear that answered. But if you put a new building on a site and 5 years from now they say, that's contaminated, you got to tear that building down. A brand new building, and then we're going to have to tear it down. And a few other things, that is prime real estate for condos. As much as a lot of people in Bay City don't like condos, after they get their tax abatement, they're going to be paying taxes at some point, 10, 12 years. That's what we usually give tax abatements for new developments. Now, first it would have to be the buildings torn down and then cleaned up, but it would be on the taxpayer rolls. It helps pay the bills. The station could go on there's a lot of land in the south end. There's empty lots. There's even existing buildings if you wanted to go that way. I would like the question answered definitively. I would like to see the paperwork from the DEQ or whatever the hell they're called now. It's the same agency, the ones that we have to answer to. I want to see the paperwork on it. I don't want somebody to say, hey, I know how we can get a new building. We'll do it this way. That's not good enough for me. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, Commissioner Coakley.
Memory serves me right, the $5 million was to rebuild Station 5, which is a smaller station than the projected on Station 2, just because of volume.
I think the projections were low on the initial.
On 5, I think that was on 5. It was two different, if I'm not mistaken on that.
To be honest, I thought when he gave the estimate for 5, I thought, wow, that's pretty cheap. It'd be great if we could actually get it done for that. When we got this estimate, I thought, if it's 6 or 7, I would feel more comfortable with it. I was surprised to get 9. Where it would fall, it could be in between those two numbers. We're not, we don't come up with these numbers. We're relying on the experts to tell us what it will cost. The fact that one is almost twice as much as the other, a little concerning to me. And just to go back a little bit on some of the prior discussion, this has changed a lot since we first started looking at Station 2. We already dug 24 inches of dirt and removed it because they said that would fix the issue. It didn't. They came back, did more testing, and it's still there. Our initial thought was, let's clean it up, tear it down, and rebuild a station right there. We were dealing with AKT Peerless, who is an environmental company, and I said, if we do that, can you promise me that they're not going to change the standards with PFAS, they're not going to test again and find PFAS under a brand new building that we have to tear down? And they said, no, they could not guarantee that. I said, well, to me, that makes a decision. I'm not going to ask to build a station on property that nobody can guarantee we can clean up.
Okay, that's fair, and that's what I thought. I know we had seen two different numbers, and I remember the $5 million was originally when we did see the Station 5 presentation.
Yeah, the only difference between the size of the stations is Station 2 would require a third bay versus 2.
Right.
It's not double the price.
Are the current bays okay? I know that station is, 70 years old?
Yeah, Station 2, we only have, I think, 2 engines that actually fit in there because you can't get any master stream on the top of those engines, which is for larger fires, because you can't fit them in the building.
Yeah, and so it's still outdated. And the foundation on that, is that still got the huge...
Yeah, I mean, the building's in terrible shape.
Right, it's like I said, anybody who's taken the time to actually visit the station would be appalled by it. But, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Charlebois.
Yeah, you're making one of my points for me, and that is if we build on the river, that site's contaminated too. And as I said, if the DEQ comes back in 5 years, we build a $10 million building there, and they say, hey, you got to tear this down. I am not for that. I already said what I said, and that is that's prime real estate for condominiums or some other riverfront development that's going to pay tax money at some point, not a public building that's not going to pay any tax money. And, when you neglect buildings and they get run down, it's a problem. You got to keep up with upkeep. I'm sure people in here are homeowners. You let the roof go, everything below it's going to go. So being that it's just like the roads, we didn't spend money on it, yeah, stuff is in tough shape. And the thing about a 55 or 70-year-old building, this, like I said earlier, this building is 110 years old. And I live in a house that's over 100 years old. Guess what? Things got to be upgraded. When you don't upgrade it, yeah, it's a mess. And I will say this, you could upgrade a building like that for probably $1 million or less, and you could do that to 5, so for 2 instead of 10, you would have 2 stations instead of 1. That's damn near Midtown. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Cubitt.
Yeah, I just, maybe if you could clarify what the pending resolution briefly is and is not. So, it's to continue working on evaluating and developing the project, moving forward with the grant that we have on demolition. It includes things like coming back to us as appropriate with updates, and you're looking into options. This is not us tonight trying to settle everything.
Correct. I mean, there's still a possibility we could get more funding from, through our requests that we have out there. We just don't, we've made, I don't know how many presentations over the past 3 years about the condition of the fire stations, and we keep kind of spinning our wheels. We'd like to move forward with getting, if we were to go out for bid right now to try and find out what a fire station would actually cost, you're probably not going to get too many bidders because there's no clear direction that we're actually going that way. I think a vote on this would actually send a message to potential engineering firms and construction firms that we are serious and we do want to move forward.
All set? Commissioner DeWitt.
Yeah, so I've also toured the building when they had the open houses in mid-2024, and it's because that one was in area where I now serve. I lived down there and I went to school down there, and we heard that the school was informed and they didn't act, that it's out of our control. The residents who were informed, if they didn't act, that is unfortunately also out of our control because we did not send the notification, EGLE did, is what we were told. Is that correct? I don't know if that's a you question or a Shelley question.
I believe we sent the letters.
Somebody.
Yeah.
You sent the letters from EGLE?
Not me, the city.
Correct.
Yes.
I wasn't implying you personally.
Yeah.
But I know this facility is not in good shape. Yes, it is not the oldest building in our portfolio by a long shot, but we also are faced with the fact that we, as a city, did neglect a lot of our infrastructure. We were told one of our first meetings when the majority of this cohort was put in, that there was no asset retention or management plan for a lot of things in the city. So you're looking at 4+ decades of nobody going, hey, this is bad and it's going to be replaced at this time, or we are expecting to have funding at this time, and we're just finally getting to a spot where we're even looking at that, which, I mean, that's progress, but to you guys as staff, it doesn't look like progress, it looks like infighting. I'm first to admit that. But the rear bay, that the door, from what I was told, doesn't open without a lot of force on the one that faces Garfield there, actual Garfield, not Garfield forward. Doesn't fit anything, even if it does open. And that back room has a stress crack that is about 3.5 inches wide, as it is, because the building was not built for that long. Unlike this building specifically, was built with the thought of it lasting for over 100 years. That one was, like many buildings in the 50s, not expected to last for 100 years plus. I understand the Water Street facility isn't the perfect location either. I understand that might cause a few issues, but are you able to disclose any of the other properties that were looked at, or is that currently we don't want to in case they were for sale? I don't know if that's a...
I mean, I can tell you, to try and, a fire station, the trucks take a while to turn around, and ideally, we would like to have a bay we can pull through instead of having to back in. you probably don't see how many insurance claims we've had for garage doors that go up and then start coming down while you're pulling in, and they're very expensive. Just one of the many factors. But so we tried to look for a place we could actually turn around and pull through to start with. We looked at the, I guess it was H&H Wheel, and that's not able to be cleaned up. That's the main property. Obviously, we looked to stay where we were at, and Water Street. There are other properties available, but the location doesn't really suit the needs to give us the response time we would like to keep for the south end.
And then I'm going to bounce back to what I mentioned in the first part of this during the presentation. Are we able to make the wheel squeaky a little bit with our request, or is this is your channel and you have to be quiet until we make a determination?
I mean, I know she has, proposed it, is advocating for it, trying to get it moving. It's just a matter of, if she gets enough people on board to support it. It's no easy task.
Okay, and then the question of people concerned about contamination itself. That tower was shut down officially in the mid-2000s approximately, like last use was mid-2000s, but torn down about 2012, 2013. Does that sound correct to anyone?
I want to say a little bit later than that, but 2020, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to tell people a story. When I was going to McGregor Elementary, this would have been right about the turn of the millennium, and they were doing training on the tower with out-of-state or out-of-city groups because every department had their own turnout gear on. And they were spraying the foam at that point on the tower, doing the fire suppression, and we, as school children do, went as close as we could without getting in trouble, which is right along the fence along the back of the now playground former soccer field at McGregor. And that foam definitely fell on us around there. And I grew up a block away on the other direction from the fire department. And again, I have been personally affected by PFAS contamination. And I understand it's not at surface level in the grass. And I remember the project that got the trailer back to the behind the building with the big spike that goes down and tests. And I want this taken care of. I do also want the concerns from the bank's residents taken care of as well. And I know doing it together is currently not feasible. But when we only have a tax roll of about $14 million, and of that, we're spending almost 5.5, 6 to keep the department operating with the personnel we have, that makes it extremely difficult for us to find funding anywhere else. Of all of the municipalities within this Bay County, I think 3 don't have a special fire one right now, and 1 is because they charge per service. I don't want to charge per service because, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper up front, but if someone gets a call, you have to pay for every fire truck that shows up and every paramedic that shows up, and that gets extremely expensive. So I would like to see something go through this, and that's why I asked toward the commission here for us to try to make a decision of where we want to stand between this and the roads to see what we want to ask and what we want to do going forward. And if we decide not to do a road millage, or we decide only do 1 mill total between the maximum 2 available for everything, just to get an option out there for the voters and have them make a decision. Because, yeah, it is more money, but we also currently do not have those on there. And then for the county funding, we get funding through for the roads from the county, but we don't get a lot because most of the county funding goes to county roads. When we pay in taxes to the county, anything that they spend toward the roads, which they don't always do because they're a different entity, they don't have to do it that way, and we don't directly fund our roads through the taxes like that, doesn't come into the city, even though we have way more roads in terms of density than the county does that are under our control. So I am in favor of this, so long as we have the understanding that we will look for a situation that will help calm the bank's residents in a way that going forward, whether it's even like a part-time solution, if it's a rehab or something like that, so we can keep that on the radar too, because I think they do deserve something. But I do think fixing a building that looks like it's being ripped apart from in slow motion up top and doesn't fit our trucks themselves are a different conversation. I think that is something we need to look at here, because I want the safety for the people who live around there long term. And even though the risk is not as high as it was 20 plus years ago, I do think it is something that we need to look for our stability going forward. Thank you.
Commissioner Zanotti.
I understand we need to replace the fire station. Number one, I don't agree that it should be on the river. But number two, If this is going as mixed up as I am after this presentation tonight, this thing's got to be accepted by the voters, okay? And with what was displayed tonight, it's 2 feet down, it's 8 feet down, it's good on the playground, it isn't good here. I don't want my firefighters in there, but we don't have our act together. That's why I don't want to support this tonight. It's not because I'm against it. I think we need to get our act together. Now, can you do that in a month and give me what the honest, I can compromise on location if that's the best location. I just personally don't like that location. But on this other stuff, what is the real truth, okay? You know, a retired firefighter tells me that on the, I don't want to goof up these directions, but on the northern part of the school property, the fire department used that years ago for some training, okay? You know, why would a retired fireman? We don't even know that. We're just assuming we're more worried about the sewers than we are on elementary kids on the playground. You guys, we can blow this off with this 2 feet thing. I've watched the McGregor property. I've watched water lines be dug. I've watched foundations be dug for 2 press boxes there, and we're just blowing that off. That's why I'm not ready to support this. Thank you.
Commissioner Coakley.
Basically, the resolution is that we're moving forward on working out all those details. It's not saying we're going to do it, but we're going to look at the site. We're going to look at everything else. We're just going to get the details that we're looking for. It's not saying we're moving. Continue evaluating and developing the project. And that's basically what we're doing with this. It says nothing else beside that. Trying to find the needs, the design, and everything else, which still have to come in front of the commission. So it's just saying we are moving forward with this project, which I will approve.
All right, Commissioner Tenney.
Thank you to the chair. A couple of quick items, I guess. I don't think that there's any black and white with PFAS. I think that from what I understand about it, which is very little because I'm not an environmental expert, nor are any of my colleagues to my knowledge, it moves. Holy smokes. So I think a range is something that we could work with and understand that. Also, I think ranges of construction projects are acceptable in the beginning phases. And as my colleagues from the first and the second have talked about, we're not doing anything concrete here. We're not assigning a dollar amount to this project. We're just saying that we formally support it. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why we would bicker about something like this. You all save lives, and we're talking about whether or not you deserve suitable quarters. What the hell is actually wrong with us? You've got to ask ourselves sometimes, you know. So we heard from the chief saying that he would like to move this thing forward formally. Again, with nothing concrete attached to this, let's move this forward, please. Can we call the question? Thank you.
All right, any objection to calling the question? All right, call the question.
Commissioner DeWitt.
Yes.
Runberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
No.
Morris.
Yes.
Kubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
Doyle.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
Sonati.
Abstain.
7 yes, 1 no.
Motion passes. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Regular agenda item 1, City Manager Employment Agreement with Mr. Richard Heyman, effective July 21st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Runberg.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Coakley.
Second.
Discussion. Any discussion? Commissioner DeWitt.
Okay, mine was something that was brought up to me. Let me pull up the question that was brought to me earlier. I do want to note otherwise that that's the wrong spot. Don't do the other ones. agreed to this, that it was a close vote, and we did have our hour and a half discussion about this in public here before we got to the point where they did a negotiation back and forth to try to get something to the table for us here, and this is our point, our chance here to actually make those changes if we did not like them. I have a note from somebody, and actually it was a different commissioner, but I'll jump in on it, on point 10 for vacation, personal leave, sick leave, and other off time. It says they shall be provided, non-unit management is set in the attached schedule, and he shall carry over all previous personal days, sick leave, and vacation days existing as the date of this agreement. Just for clarification, that does not mean he's getting any preloaded. This is just for his future years. This is only for the future years, not for the, he's not bringing stuff on board from anywhere else, correct?
That's correct. I mean, he'll have his vacation that's in the contract till the end of this year, and if he doesn't use those, it does carry on to the next year.
Okay, and then the other question was one that was solved, but I just wanted to note that previously it did mention that the limitation for residency was 10 miles, but it has been adjusted to 20 to match the state law.
Correct.
Okay, and then my third point is not a question, it's a point of note, is our peer cities, total compensation for city managers. I have Midland, Saginaw, Jackson, East Lansing, Muskegon, Traverse City, Lincoln Park, and East Point. Their total compensation packages for their city managers range between $150,000 and $237,000 a year, and that's based off of their original contract signing. So although this does feel like a ton of money to, I mean, me, that's way more than I make in a year, that we are in the same ballpark as our peer cities. Now, some of those cities we may look at and go, oh, that city is different because of X. The problem is we're looking at an average overall, and I think where we're at right now with a 2-year agreement will keep us in line with the other cities that are in our group. I think Mr. Vitrano, our consultant, did the search through the standard channels that we were kind of expecting to. We were kind of hoping for a little more creativity on it, but we did have the open application on the city website for people to apply to, that anyone could have applied to at that point. We also had the survey, which we tried to push, but I think, again, in our understanding, we mostly thought that what we got back was kind of what we expected, but we were hoping for more people to actually respond to it, and that's something that we've noticed overall. So to anyone who's still listening to me ramble, please, if someone from the community who's from a trusted source says, hey, I want your opinion, please give it as soon as possible. That way, everyone who's associated with that can make better decisions. I know what social media is. I mean, I'm saying that sounding like a boomer, but I know what social media is. Everyone who complains on Facebook to me, to others, in general to the thing, please fill out the forms that are in front of you. If you want things to change immediately, we need to have the correct idea of where you are. Last year, we had this community survey showing that only about half of people would support a millage on anything. We need to be better at getting people to respond, and we need people who are complaining to us to respond as well, because if their input's in there, they can then say, yes, I participated and you're still going against me. And that makes it harder for us to, I don't want to say ignore them, but pass it off as, oh, they're just blowing off steam. Because I was in this chamber for almost 8 years before I was on the side of the table. And a lot of the times it was expected that if you were just blowing off steam, it seemed like it was like, well, you didn't actually try. People need to do that survey. If they need help, please ask. I think we're in a decent spot with this as it is now to start this process, move on to our next chapter as city manager. And again, as I stated last meeting, I have had what I'd consider a contentious relationship with the city manager since I started coming here. And the end here is where I've had the most success with my point and getting responses and everything. And that's fine. I understand. I am not the easiest person to work with sometimes. But I do want to thank her for what she's done. And I think we are ready to move, unless anyone else has questions here on the chamber. And please ask the questions, just so we can ensure that we did our due diligence here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zanotti. Never mind. Oh, Commissioner Morris.
Through the chair, as city manager, I just have one quick question about the residency, just for clarification. There's an incentive for $5,000 to live within the city limits. That means the city of Bay City, correct? Not like Bangor Township.
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure.
City boundaries, within the city boundaries.
Okay, within the city of Bay City. Thank you so much. That's all I had.
All right, Commissioner Copeland.
Yeah, I was intent to be tax-paying city resident with that on that. I just wanted to thank the city manager and the city attorney on their work with this contract. And I know it wasn't easy, and there's a lot of give and take with it. I appreciate it, and like I said, it's ready to move forward, and let's get this done.
Okay, any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Runberg,
Yes.
Charlebois,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Hubert,
Yes.
Coakley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Tenney,
Yes.
Zanati,
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, motion's been approved. Is there anything else on the agenda this evening?
There is not.
All right, seeing none, we are adjourned.